Matthew, dear friends who are gathered here from all over the world and Israel to pay tribute to a great, great Jew. There are very few people who one can describe as Moses Montefiore of a generation. Clearly, Edgar was one of them, perhaps one of the very few in the last 150 years of the Montefiore saga. He wasn't a builder, he was a doer. And how does one become a Moses Montefiore? After all, there are many Jewish leaders all over the world who are doing great things throughout the generation. But one can single out very few of them who say, he is the Moses Montefiore of the generation. Well, first of all, it starts from something from within. And I think Edgar had a leadership quality from childhood. And clearly, growing up in a unique community out there in Montreal, which wasn't the most central community of Jewish communities, however, a close-knit community, a very Zionist community, an ardent community with great challenges of his childhood as well. And I think that's what crafted him to become a leader. And thereafter, he was a leader in whatever he has done. And whatever he has done, wherever he touched, he had a golden touch. First of all, he was a leader in business. He succeeded greatly in business. He turned Seagram into a huge success. And thereafter, wherever he invested, such as in Challenge, in Laadgер, and in other ventures, he was a leader. People knew Edgar Bronfman is around, and when he is investing there, it must be good. And thereafter, slowly but surely, he grew up to become one of the greatest leaders of the Jewish world as such in the generations of the 80s and 90s and onwards. And that period was an earth-shattering period. Continents shattered and moved. Walls fell. And all of a sudden, you needed Jewish leadership to deal with the most painful and important tasks of all. Immigration, Jewish immigration, taking care of Jews out there beyond the Iron Curtain, dealing with the German government on reparations, on touching the most painful parts of the Holocaust which were untouched until then, and emanated slowly but surely within the corridors of the United Nations and in international organizations who've started working on it. And thereafter, the immigration of Ethiopian Jews from the heartland of Africa here to the State of Israel, and dealing with governments and presidents and administrations and becoming your brother's keeper. Edgar was all of this and much more than that, because he encompassed not only political skill and maneuvering what was termed as Jewish power, and indeed using all the tools that it needed, even if some people believed in the protocols of Zion. Well, if it's for the good cause, he did it. And thereafter, of course, not only that, but putting content into what it means Jewish life. I went to Cornell in the mid-70s, and that's why I was a young Israeli exposed to Hillel. And all of a sudden I got to understand that there's a club of Jewish students where everybody gathers together and somehow keeps Shabbat and have a Kiddush. And I must say that when I heard that Edgar took over and became the sponsor of Hillel, I thought it was magnificent, because clearly the issue of Jewish continuity, Jewish identity, Jewish pride, Jewish solidarity, solidarity with Israel, solidarity of Jewish values, clearly that was something missing out there in the discussion. And all of a sudden, Edgar took it as a leader and placed it back on the map. And all over the world, and especially on campuses in the United States, it's something that doesn't leave you forever. Everybody remembers his alumni, everybody remembers his fraternity, everybody remembers his or hers Hillel. And I think that is what symbolizes Edgar most. A combination of great support for Israel and its leadership and its army and what it symbolizes, and huge, huge impetus and importance into what it means Jewish life out there all over the globe, wherever it is, in Limmud, in Hillel, in leadership, and so forth and so on. My late father, President Chaim Herzog, had a unique relationship with Edgar. That during the term of my father's presidency, the 10-year-long term of his presidency, Edgar was the #1 Jewish leader of the World Jewish Congress, and whatever he did. I came to Edgar with Yitzhak Rabin. Matthew was there in 1992. It was a unique experience. And I saw these two great men sitting and talking, and clearly you felt in good hands. And Yossi Chechanover was with us, and many others. And I felt that it's my duty to be here. I'm coming from a memorial service to a great, unique Israeli, Yigal Allon, 34 years to his passing away on the shores of Lake Galilee, and I felt that I have to be here. And Yigal Allon wrote something which we are still learning from. He said that the only way to keep our national strength and capability as a nation is by having kelim shluvim, converged tools. You cannot have might only through the tank or the plane. And you cannot have spirit only through education. You have to combine all of them. And a nation's strength is judged by the capability of encompassing everything together in merged tools: education and culture and identity and social cohesiveness, and challenging the ability to absorb people from all over the world into their new homeland, and dealing with the pains of the past and looking for the future, and building an army and having a united, strong Jewish diaspora which is defendable and proud of itself. Well, as a partner for Yigal Allon, I would take Edgar Bronfman for what he did, for the service to the Jewish people and the State of Israel. We are all extremely grateful for that, and may I express it with deep emotions, just like Yuli Edelstein did on his part of the political spectrum. May I add my part of the political spectrum and say there's a national consensus on Edgar Bronfman. May he rest in peace.